नमस्कार, अजीत वेब टीवी में आपका स्वागत है। आज यहाँ मेरे साथ है निकी हैली। निकी मूलतः पंजाब की है और उनका पूरा नाम है निम्रत कौर रंधावा। वे अमेरिका में जन्मी व पली बड़ी है। निकी अमेरिका के साउथ कैरोलिना की गवर्नर है। एक भारतीय होने के नाते हमें गर्व है कि वे वहाँ इस पद पर आसीन हैं। निकी, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है।
सत श्री अकाल जी।
निकी, वेलकम टू इंडिया।
Thank you very much.
अच्छा, यू बीन टू पंजाब।
Yes.
How did you find Punjab?
It was so much more spectacular than I thought it would be. I grew up, the last time I was here, I was 2 years old, so I had no memories. But what I did have were the stories that my parents told and the memories they had. And so they were dreams. It was part of my imagination to think about what Punjab was like, but to see it and to feel it was just very emotional and very touching.
And what sort of stories they used to tell to you?
You know, they used to tell me the stories about growing up, about going to school, about getting married, but about the simple, good quality life of growing up in Punjab. They always spoke about it with emotion. It's very hard for them to be able to talk about it without getting emotional and good memories of it. So to be able to see it and now know and feel what they have been talking about is really special. I can't wait to share it with them.
And since you are in power, what suggestion you would like to give to government of Punjab for the development of Punjab further?
You know, I spoke with the chief minister and also the deputy chief minister, and the focus is that states have to be competitive. You know, that's the important thing, is what Prime Minister Modi is doing in India is wonderful, and I think there's great opportunities. But the states also have to be competitive, and I think that Punjab needs to be more competitive than their sister states, and that's cutting down regulation, making the business environment strong, training your workforce so that there's good skill development centers available, making sure that the businesses that do business in Punjab, predictability needs to be there, consistency needs to be there, and quality needs to be there. When that happens, more companies will come.
Okay, you used to raise funds for the hospitals out there in the US.
Yes, yes.
Would you suggest such things for the government of Punjab or the people of Punjab or people who are staying there in America? So those who are Punjabis, would you suggest them to raise such funds for the Punjab?
You know, a lot of what I think you do is you look at what your community needs. You know, if there are challenged areas, you do want to, you know, communities do want to give, but you do it through the private sector. You do it through the people. That's what we have always done, is you find companies that are doing well and you ask them to be a part of the community and you ask them to give back, and when you ask, they usually do it. It's finding the right places to have those contributions to go to and make sure there's a plan and results at the end of it.
Recently, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was there and he received a rousing welcome there in the US.
Yes.
What do you have to say about this?
You know, I met with Mr. Modi in New York. I was very impressed with his focus and his leadership, but very few leaders can come in and fill Madison Square Gardens. He filled an arena, and the Indian community in America was so proud. And he talked about his vision, and he talked about what they wanted to do, and he got a huge round of applause. And so there's a lot of hope for India from the Indian community back in America, because they still love this country and they still want to see it do well, and they were very pleased with what he had to say, and I think we're all excited to watch his leadership.
And when you came to Punjab, you must have come with a typical set of mind. Yes. And when you visited the Punjab, what the difference you find?
I think I always knew that the Indian people had good heart, and I knew that Punjabis are good and strong because I'm a strong Punjabi girl. I know that my parents raised me to be strong, so that part I expected. What was surprising was the overwhelming warmth that I got from everyone, the support, the love that I got. You know, people told me that I would get it, but to feel it and to see it, they were just so kind. And to do that, both my husband and I were very overwhelmed and very appreciative of how kind they were.
And when your father migrated to US, can you throw some light on that?
Yes, I mean, they left in 1968. They went to, a rural state, South Carolina. We were in a small town. He was a professor of a university, and we happened to end up in a town with 2,500 people, no Indian families. He was the only person with a turban. My mom was the only person with a sari, and people didn't know who we were or what we were. So it was a challenging time. It was hard to be accepted. It was hard to conform. But as I and my brothers and sister grew up, if we came home complaining, my mom would always say, your job is not to show people how you're different, your job is to show them how you're similar. And so all growing up, that's what I've done, is tried to show people how we're similar.
And when you thought of entering into politics?
It was not in school at all. I had no idea about politics. It was when I graduated from Clemson University, I went into the corporate world. I was an accountant, and then I came back home to the family business, and I was frustrated by how hard it was to make a dollar and how easy it was for government to take it. My mom said, quit complaining about it, do something about it, and so I ran for office. I didn't know how hard it would be at the time. I don't think she did either, but it was about making a difference. And what I'm thankful for is the bruises are gone, but the benefits and the results of what we're trying to do for the people of South Carolina are there. And so we're very pleased with the results that we've had, and we'll continue to work hard to make everyone proud.
Okay, post 9/11, Punjabis who are staying there in US, they're facing racial abuse, and those who are thinking they're the Muslims, yes, they target them. Can you can you do something for those or can you clear the minds of US people? Punjabis are different, Sikhs are different from the Muslims. Can you
I think it was a scary time. After 9/11, I know that my own father, we only have one Gurdwara in South Carolina, and so the Sikhs were very concerned. Trying to educate was important, but the Sikh community did a great job of educating. For example, in South Carolina, the Sikh community came together. They got together with Governor Hodges. They contributed money to the fund. They stood up and showed that they were all standing there in turbans and showed that they were people of peace and that they condemned what happened in 9/11. And it's through that they've continued to educate. And so the American people have become more accepting, and they're starting to realize what the differences are. So I think we've come a long way. I think it's proven by the fact that an Indian girl in South Carolina can be governor, that people understand that there is a difference, and what they want is peace. And the Indian community is very well respected in America. If you don't know the Indian community, it's the most educated minority in the country. It's the highest per capita of incomes of all minorities in the country. It's the minority that's least dependent on government assistance, and it's the one minority that's the most charitable of all minorities in the country. So when the country thinks of Indians, they think of it with great respect.
Nikki, there are incidents of attacks on Gurdwaras as well. What do you have to say about this?
We had that happen in Wisconsin a couple of years ago, and that's unfortunate. But those events do still happen. We're going to have extremists everywhere. But what I can tell you is the Indian community has done a great job of educating, and the American public has done a great job of accepting. What we have to do is make sure we don't stop, that we don't stop there, that we always talk about the good contributions of the Indian community in America and around the world, and to help distinguish the differences between good citizens that want to do for the public and extremists who are trying to harm people.
Okay, you were also associated with the recycling process, and since our Prime Minister has started Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, that is Clean India movement, yes, what suggestion would you like to give them?
I think that it's something that will give people pride. When you talk about made in India, you're talking about patriotism. That same thing is for the waste management. When they start to clean where they live, they will start to be proud. And that's something everybody wants to love where they live. So I think it's something that's very important for the people of India to do, and to do it for themselves, and to do it for their children, and to do it for their communities, because when they see it clean, they will want to keep it clean, and it'll give a new source of pride that I think they may not have right now.
There was a time when India was considered as the country of the snake charmers. Now, what do you have to say about the India? Punjab as well.
I don't think that's the thought anymore. And it's funny because when I was growing up, they saw India as snake charmers. They saw India as a very poor country. They saw, and the media used to do that. They used to show all the poor, sad parts of India. I don't know that that's the case anymore. Now they see the intelligence of the IT community. They see what's happening in pharmaceuticals. They see the government changing. And I can tell you, I feel the energy of all of it moving. There's a lot of intrigue about India right now. And I think there's a lot of opportunity that if India moves forward in this Made in America program, in this Clean India program, in this willingness to create predictability and consistency in the way they do business and reducing government, I think it's going to be a new day in India. And I think it's going to be really great to watch.
Does being an Indian becomes an obstacle there in American politics for you?
I think that any time that you're different, there can be challenges. But, my parents always said, make those challenges opportunities. And so what I always did was I've always talked about how I'm the proud daughter of Indian parents. I've always talked about my culture and our heritage and what we have. And when you do that in America, people respect it. And I think the answer is, if I can be elected as governor twice in a state like South Carolina, I think it shows that, yes, we can overcome those obstacles. And I think it speaks very well of the American people that they respect the Indian public, but they also just want people that serve. And that's what I've tried to do, is represent well, make people proud, and serve in a way that they get results.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.